What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of the Grab My Banner podcast. My name is Wyatt Babb, and I'm here with Bryan and Kyle. Kyle, say what's good.
Hey, what's good?
Bryan, say what's up.
How's it going, guys?
I said say what's up, and you didn't.
Don't be a dick.
Okay. Well, I think I'm allowed to be a little bit of a dick here, Bryan, because if I'm looking at this record here, it says 7 and... Oh, no, that's a 1. 1 and 5. 1 and 5 on your bets this week, Bryan. So that doesn't look very good.
Listen, betting on you is a bad idea.
Oh, yeah. You blame it on me,
and,
Bryan.
you know, Kyle, I bet over on Kyle. I had a little faith in the dude, but the bad teammate over here just fucked all that shit up.
Well, you hit him with the triple O, and that was your first mistake. You shouldn't be tossing out triple O's like it's
Listen, I thought he was going to be a good teammate.
Well...
Hey, listen. He did the right thing. It's just that I'm the best gambler that ever was, so it's okay.
Yeah, let's records real quick because we already know Bryan's trash. Kyle went 4-2 this week. Good job, Kyle. He did great. And I went 3-3. So I went 500 on that. Not good. Play-wise, okay, records or whatever, you know, we take the bets. Play-wise, we were 1-8 against the spread. We fucking suck.
Dude, that was bad this week.
It was bad.
We set these lines way too damn high.
Way too high, especially the average. The average is way too high.
Of course.
So, looking here, the only person who got one of their bets was me getting 45 kills. Every single other one, the max for me 2,400, bad. Average for me 1,000. What the fuck was that? Max for Bryan 2,050, no. Average for Bryan 850, laughable. Kyle's max 2,300, average 700. He got actually probably decently close to that one, but still that wasn't.
I got somewhat close. I'm like at 480 something, but it wasn't.
So not a good week bets wise, but the lines will be coming later. We'll finish up that gambling at the end of the show. What's up, Bryan?
Disclaimer: we don't suck. We just didn't get to play with each other that often this week. We played like one night with each other. So this week, expect the numbers to be quite a bit higher, especially for me. We're talking 3 to 4 times that amount.
Shut up, Bryan. Here's the reason we didn't play a lot, Bryan. We didn't play a lot because of you.
I kept saying, just let me know when you're on. I'll hop on. I never got the call.
Okay, let me hold your hand. Let me just hold your hand through the whole process, Bryan.
Listen, if you guys said, I'm on, I'm turning it on. I'm turning it on.
Do I got to get out the fucking bat signal and just signal out Bryan every single time we need? What's going on?
We're a team here.
Yeah, are you a mass vigilante? What's going on?
Hey, speaking of teammates.
I hold on.
I'm not saying anything right now. I'm just going to ask, is Kyle a bad teammate? Let's discuss.
Well, he made me go 0-3 this week.
So that's not good teammate of him.
Maybe, should we ask our super producer Troy?
Let's get super producer Troy in here. Hold on, guys. Welcome super producer Troy to the podcast. His first time on the show. He's doing a great job producing. He hasn't touched one button, but he's done a great job so far.
Listen, Wyatt Babb, the better of a producer you are, the less buttons you have to touch.
Wow.
So
I didn't think of it like
keep that in mind.
Okay, I will.
It's good to be here with all you beautiful people out there. Definitely not in here.
Troy, give us some background.
Background on what exactly?
You.
I'm about 6'1", 185 pounds.
Okay.
And I don't jump particularly high.
Okay. So you played Apex a little bit, and you played enough to know if Kyle is a good teammate or not, and this is why we're bringing you in here. Is Kyle a good teammate?
Yeah, you know, being a teammate isn't really an Apex question; it's a humanity question, and I have to say, you know, Kyle just doesn't possess the qualities that it takes to be the kind of supportive, trustworthy person that you want to have behind you or in front of you for that matter. Okay. And the kind of independent behavior that we saw out of Kyle in this one session that I was able to witness was quite frankly appalling.
All right, let's give Kyle a chance to defend himself.
First, I just want to start off by fuck you.
Okay.
That's all. That's
not
all
very
of you.
teammate of you, but okay.
Everybody
not very
in here.
Teammate of you, but okay.
It's all of you. I'm looking at all of you.
Okay. Not very teammate.
I want you to know. Fuck you as a teammate, okay? That's it. That's the teammate of me, okay?
Right.
I have helped you so much. I have your back as a teammate more than Bryan's ass does. Don't be throwing me under the bus.
Okay. All right. Well, there's Kyle defending himself.
You know, I think it's worth mentioning that we gave the microphone off to Kyle, And we gave him an opportunity to prove that he did, in fact, have those human traits that would make him a quality teammate. And all he did was say, quite immediately, "Fuck you," and then start pointing his finger at others. I think that there quite literally could not have been a more confirmatory statement. And the people that are listening to this podcast, I think, is very self-evident who's in the right here.
We'll let them decide, but I think we've laid everything out there for them to decide if Kyle's a good teammate or not. We'll give him another week to really see if he can improve and grow as a teammate, but, I mean, I don't know after this
Listen,
week.
all I got to say is I am the gambling champion of the week, and both of you suck balls.
It's all about you.
Kyle was about
Who's
to
the gambling champion?
Dude, we told Kyle not to say suck balls in this week's episode, and he probably got through about 5 minutes of the show. Before.
I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best here, okay?
All right.
Trying to be a good teammate.
Oh, wow. What a start. What a start to the show. All right, guys, for the rest of the show, we got a lot going on. We're going to talk a little bit about some discussions that we found on Reddit that we thought would be interesting. We're going to go into our main meat discussion, which is the state of the game right now, because I think that's a big discussion within the Apex community, is figuring out what the state of the game is with all the changes. A lot of people are unhappy. Some people are starting to come around on it. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. That'll be our main meat discussion. And then we'll finish up the show with a little bit of bets. We'll set it up for the next week's episode, and we'll get into that, setting up the lines and all that. So, boys, let's get right into it with the Reddit discussion. We have a discussion from a Redditor. By the way, if you're not on the Apex Legends Reddit, you really should be. Community is great over there. I just recently got into Reddit, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but I'm really impressed with the Apex community. There are really lots of good guys out there, great posts. Artists are amazing in that Reddit, so go ahead and check that out. So this comes from a Redditor named Xtotorian. 4 days ago, he posted Pathfinder's new passive concept. Okay, let's be honest, with the Season 6 release, Pathfinder's current passive is a joke, considering all it is an ultimate accelerant when scanning beacons. I think his new passive should be something decent. When he travels on zip lines and jump towers, he should do it at 2 times the speed. What do you guys think?
I think that would be fair. I actually think it's a little underpowered. I don't think it's really that good. I think it's good for him, and it doesn't help the team at all, though. Then again, your passive, though, doesn't really need to help anybody, but, like, I think that moving faster on zip lines really, it gives you a momentum boost, but other than that, it really does nothing for you.
Disagree. Strongly disagree. Pathfinder's ultimate, he already gets it immediately after scanning. That's very useful in the form of being able to move your team from place to place. That being said, if your team's a little bit away from you, this gives Pathfinders a little extra range where they don't have to use their grapple to get to their teammates in a quick fight. This does help your teammates quite a bit. You come in at a different angle, you take high ground, you do whatever you need to do to where you can get in and kind of get a flank much quicker than any other character in this game will, while still leaving your grapple on a 35-second cooldown ready and available for you to get out.
I think it would be really helpful, and being able to go across at double speed, it's always, the main detraction from the grapple or the zip line is you're going in that straight line and it's easy to shoot off. If you're going at double the speed, it's going to be a lot more difficult with how you have to lead those bullets. So I think that would actually be a really helpful buff to Pathfinder, and I wouldn't mind seeing it in the game.
I think all it changes is how far ahead you got to aim to shoot the guy that's on the zip line. That's all it changes. It doesn't change really that much. And I feel like as soon as people pick up on how far ahead they have to aim to shoot the Pathfinder off the zip line, it doesn't really matter then. And then it just comes down to skill.
Well, it also lowers the duration that he's on the zip line, so that could combat that too. If it's not like a crazy zip line, if it's not the longest zip line on Earth from, Capital City to the outside, like the outskirts of it right there, if it's not that zip line, if it's just a quick little one, I think he benefits from that much more than if not.
Well, I'm still thinking more along the lines of third partying. Mm-hmm. Like, that's going to increase the time of third partying or supporting your teammates very quickly. And the biggest thing about it is Pathfinder is able to move and relocate at the beginning or at the beginning of a fight to take that early positioning that we mentioned last week and be able to still keep his grapple up so he can reposition mid-fight as well. It gives him the opportunity to do both. Instead of just getting into the fight or out, he can now get into the fight and get out, or get into the fight and move. Mm-hmm. So it gives him a little more utility in that. I think the biggest bonus of that would be leaving his grapple up. So it's more of a help to himself than anything, but he's still able to support his teammates a little bit better because he can do it safely for himself.
Either way, I think he needs something because, like he said in the post, now with Season 6, it's just basically, ultimate accelerant when he finds a respawn beacon. So now we go on to our second Reddit discussion. We have another discussion about Pathfinder. This one comes from Jose Mewis. Pathfinder buff. I wish I could grapple down squad mates to safety and give the grapple more utility. He attached a picture that it looked like he drew himself with like Crayola crayons, but it's a really good drawing. And it shows like there's a door and Pathfinder pulls the guy into the door, they shut the door, and then revive, which in that case seems like a really helpful part of the grapple if they were to put that in. What do you think, Kyle?
I think that it would be really overpowered and that you could abuse it in so many different ways that I think it would be just, it would kind of mess up the game a little bit. Especially, it depends on how they did it. Because if it works the same way as when you grapple people, when you go to shoot like an enemy, because you can like grapple your enemies and pull them to you and then shoot them with a shotgun, which is like what most people do. But like, if you could do that with your teammates, now you're talking like you jump off the top of the building and grapple your teammate and throw them up a couple stories while you're falling back down, and then you can do like trade outs kind of in the middle of a fight.
But you'd have to decide. You have that 35-second cooldown. So I feel like it wouldn't be that overpowered because you'd have to decide, okay, am I going to escape with this, or am I going to try and bring in a teammate that might just go down again? Because Pathfinder's not going to revive anybody quickly. It'd have to be in the perfect situation.
Also, so the reason why Wraith is so good is because Wraith's portal can be used to portal downed enemies out into safety. If you could just get that with Pathfinder's grapple that you get every 35 seconds rather than, an ultimate that you get maybe every minute and a half, it becomes way more versatile, way more of a tool. Rather than a tool to get high ground or to take a different position or something, it now becomes, I can now use this tool to save my teammates as well as reposition, which is what Wraith's Portal has.
No. Okay, first off, I understand. I'm gonna start with giving you a little bit of credit on where your head's going with it. I understand what you're saying with the utility that's involved with the grapple, being able to pull people out and being able to use it to tag in and out type deal, all that kind of stuff. Plays like that are only going to be done on pretty much the highest level, if they've done it all. To be able to get that grapple, the grapple is not very far. Like, they can run over to you. Pretty much, you'd have to grapple, swing them around. You're going to have to look away from the person to be able to swing them, because that's how the grapple works. It pulls the direction that you're looking, not the direction you're grappling from. So you're going to have to take your eyes off target most of the time, which is already dangerous mid-gunfight in the times when that would be used. But the biggest issue with it is if Pathfinder were to have the ability to grapple his teammates and fling his teammates around the map, the game would be dead in public lobbies. Public lobbies, nobody would want to play them. Because you would always have that one asshole on your team that's a Pathfinder that grabs you and throws you into the lava, or pulls you away from the loot, or pulls you away from anything that you want to do, or throws you and slingshots you into the other team just to be a dick. Because that's how public lobbies are. And people are just that kind of like, unfortunately, people are just like that. Unless you had a full squad of 3, people wouldn't want to play the game as much. There's a ton of utility that's involved with it and a ton of things like that. But it's just one of those things where it's not, I don't see it working out with the way the community is. And this isn't an Apex community thing. It's a gaming community thing. People like to get on a game and just go screw around. And I think that it would become so tedious to some players that you start seeing the numbers for playing Apex drop dramatically. Because Pathfinder is one of the most popular characters. He's a fun character. And now you throw in the ability to be able to screw around and mess with teammates. Now you're running kind of a bigger issue there where it's like, okay, well, people are going to just completely screw with you the entire time. Every 35 seconds, you're being flung halfway across the map. Like, that's not going to be fun.
No, yeah, for sure. I think you have a point, Brian, for sure, with the, it would only be used at the highest level, but I feel like that would make it kind of ineffective to where it wouldn't really matter if it was there or not, so you might as well just put it in because he's already lacking now, I think.
If you throw it in, like, that's what I'm saying is they're just going to mess, like, people aren't going to use it how it was intended at the lowest level. All it's going to do is people are just going to mess around, and I think it's going to bring down the numbers because you're going to have that small group of people who only lock on a path to completely mess with their teammates because they just want to, like, mess with somebody.
Yeah,
they want to get people to rage. People like to do that.
I can see what you're saying, but I feel like that would be less of an issue for the numbers of the game, like players of the game going down compared to the meta we're seeing right now. I feel like that would be more of an issue.
I just don't see grappling teammates being the fix for Pathfinder's grapple. Grapple needs something more. I say it needs less of a cooldown or a longer range. Because they reduced the range on it a while back. Take off the 5% damage, give them the faster zip to enter in fights, and a little bit longer range on the grapple itself, the length of the grapple. And I think that he probably sits in a cool place. Like, put him at like maybe 25 seconds.
Realistically, if they just they took off the 5% extra damage, that would probably be enough in its own.
Yeah, probably.
Because that would make him, basically like a revenant that could move.
Which, yeah, that'd be really, honestly, that'd be kind of scary. Like, Pathfinder's one of those characters, he's always going to be on a knife's edge. You buff him too much in one direction, he's going to be amazing. You nerf him too much in one direction, he's going to suck. Like, he's not bad right now.
No, he's actually
in
a decent spot.
He's like third class. Like, if there's like, like letter grades like A, B, C, D, he's sitting at like a
he's got to be a B.
Yeah, he's a B.
Because he's still getting used in...
He's a B. Like,
yeah.
He's still being used. He's still playing well. He's still able to move, and he's still able to kill, but he's not what he was before, where he was a must-pick.
So, speaking of players dropping out of the game, time to move on to our main discussion, state of the game. Apex Legends as a game, where is it going? What's been going on since Season 6? Before we get started, we'll hit you with a quick ad, and we'll catch you on the other side to talk about State of the Game Season 6. So, obviously, lots of changes came in Season 6. We got a new character. We got new metas as far as guns go, as far as characters go. And we saw a completely different armor system that's really changed everything and put the game on its face. So, state of the game, where do you think the game is at, Kyle?
I wish it was in a better place. And I know a lot of people were really quick to hate on this season. And I think they have every right to hate on this season. I think it's probably one of the worst seasons that I have been a part of since the game has dropped. And I think that a lot of the pros feel the same way, and a lot of people who play the game feel the same way, except for like the people who play in Call of Duty who like transferred over to play Apex, Like, that's the only people that I think like were like, yeah, this is a good update. And everybody else who normally played Apex was like, what is this? What am I playing right now?
I'm very much, like, I don't want to say I'm in the exact same position as last week. I think it's a little worse than what I thought it was. I had my hopes up high still last week. The TTK is too much. It is. It's too much, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a good game. Like, it is still a good game. It's not like the game's dead. It still feels like Apex. It's just a different version of Apex, and I'm not sure it's not a better version.
Yeah, and I think I was one of the biggest detractors when this season first came out. I was livid, was not happy with the game at all, but after playing it now for this last week, I've come around on it to where I can tolerate it, and it's still by far my favorite game to play right now, by far my favorite thing to talk about. I actually really enjoyed playing over the week. It was a good time. I had to make some adjustments, I don't think it was as bad as everybody was saying when it first dropped. I think, like Kyle said, early on, I think people gave it too much flack. It got a lot better throughout the week. As I was playing, I felt better, but That being said, I still think, like Bryan said too, the TTK has to change. They got to go back to what they had before. I think that's the best way. The armor system. No, I don't think the armor system should change. I'm fine with the Evo and everything involved with that. I just think we need to go back to the numbers that they had before with the armor.
I don't think you're wrong. I like I said last week, dude. I said if they change the armor back, everything will be fine. We've dealt with energy weapons before, and as much as I believe that the devotion does not belong on the ground where you can pick it up freely,
You're not wrong.
I really think that if they did leave if they left the guns the way they were, if they left the devotion in the box and they left the R99 on the ground, and we would still see somewhat of an energy meta still, because the Volt is just crazy. It's amazing, It's got practically no recoil. You can hammer people for full armor off the map. Like on the other side of the map, you can just tear their armor off, and you can just totally melt people. If you have purple mag, you just blow right through them in a matter of seconds. And I think that it being so accurate and being able to shoot so far and all that would lead us to having an energy meta anyways.
Yeah, so that's the other part of it. Obviously, the TTK is a big thing. The energy meta is a little frustrating, but there's been some ways to get around this energy meta, and I think we've all found some ways to get around it.
Just to list off the top, the first one, my favorite one that I found, was the hammer points. And I think all of us experienced this. You guys were using the Mozambique with hammer points.
Boy.
Nope, you guys need to not sleep on those guns. If you see those guns or you find hammer point, pick them up. Because if you have those, and I'm going to regret saying this because if we end up seeing a lot of hammer points, I'm going to fucking want to shoot myself. Because the shield is so diminished, the hammer points are fucking insane. You will just start wrecking people. And it's very, very strong. Don't sleep on it whatsoever.
Yeah, the P2020 buff, you've got 3 shots to tear off their shield. You probably only need 2. And then the last 2 shots, you're just killing them. And then the reload on it is so quick that you can just load up and get ready for the next person. So I think that both the hammer point weapons are really, really strong.
Snipers, shotguns are starting to emerge too a little bit.
Yeah, the Mastiff has been a lot better now that when you're hitting for 90, it's not like you're not taking off all their shield. You're definitely taking off all their shield if you're hitting for 90.
Yeah, unless you're me and you still hit for 7.
Very, very true. Unless you're Bryan, then you hit for 18s and 14s and 7s.
And some days we are all Bryan when we're using the Mastiff because we randomly, for whatever reason, just can't seem to get the numbers on the shots.
I just shoot him in the face and I get a 7.
But getting back to the main discussion here, because we kind of went off on a gun tangent, I think the game, it's not in the form that we'd like to see it. It's manageable for right now. And what makes it even more manageable is the fact that Respawn, after hearing all the complaints and everything, immediately responded with one of the quickest patches that we'd seen, where they lowered the amount of times you'd see the devotion on the ground, they lowered the turbocharger, the times you'd see the turbocharger on the ground, and they also lowered the damage on the Devo by one what is it, damage?
1 damage, yeah.
Yeah, so it went from 17 to 16?
Yeah,
something like that.
It's from
18 to 17.
18 to 17?
I don't know.
Either
I think
way,
it's
17 to 16.
Yes, they dropped it down to 1 point, and listen, like when you have a company that can respond that quickly, I don't think your state of the game will ever drop below a certain level. Because if you got a company that really pays attention like that, we're in good hands here. We really are.
Listen, I do think we're in good hands, but the fix that they put out was just not enough. Even though it was good, I don't think it's enough. I think that they need to make more changes because it just doesn't feel like the same game. It feels a little bit different still.
I mean, it's a step in the right direction. That's at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a step in the right direction to getting it back to the state that it was before. And we're not... let's make it clear. We're not asking for an exact replica of Season 5. Season 5 was good, but we need something new. The game gets stale if it doesn't have that. The quick response, you can't ask for a quicker response from them. They literally said, okay, we're going to dial down the devotion and basically take it off of the floor because there's going to be almost none of them out there. And the turbocharger, we're going to do the same thing with that. that immediately nerfs the two strongest guns in the game significantly. That being said, it still leaves us with the question, what's next?
Yeah.
What needs to be done next?
Kyle touched on a great point here. The change was good, but it needs to be more. There still needs to be some changes, and I think it really starts with the armor situation, the TTK. It's not Apex when the TTK is that fast. I mean, if you guys watch the clip on Twitter, by the way, go ahead and follow us at Twitter, at GrabMyBannerPod. If you check out the clip, I mean, it's almost instant, especially if they have a Volt or a Devotion. It's literally insane how fast you go down. It's insane. And then along with all the other bugs where you're not hearing footsteps and stuff, it's even more frustrating. So there's still a long way to go, but we did get something, and that's better than nothing.
I want to point out that Respawn, since they've come in, has done this thing where they make very strong, very quick changes to the game. And when they don't work, they're quick to fix it. They'll tone it up, way overpower things, and then they'll tone it down to where it's playable. With the two times that we saw that came in and wasn't the case, everyone in the community complained about it. Being when Revenant launched and he was completely underpowered, and when Loba launched and she was completely underpowered and honestly still pretty underpowered now. It's with those two that I look at it and say, what would you rather have? The same meta repeated over and over with small tweaks here and there, but it never really feels like a change in season, or something where it feels like a huge change in season and then you revert back closer towards the end of the season. You're like, man, that actually was a good season. It started out rocky, but it ended up great. There's been a few seasons where we've had to say that.
I think that's a great point too, because it would get stagnant, and it's good that we have these switch ups like this, especially before probably the biggest season in Apex history, Season 7 coming up. There's going to be a lot of crazy things going down, so it's good that they did this now, get it out of the way. Bryan touched on it perfectly, man. I mean, I'd rather have those big changes and have a little bit of disappointment at first and have it slowly go back to, or come back to a manageable place. I think we're in the right hands with Respawn. But there's still a lot more things that need to be changed.
There's a whole bunch of tweets from different pros and different people that are very impressionable in the community, and one of them is Imperial How, and he talks about how it seemed like there was no recoil for any of the guns, and how it seemed like the skill gap really doesn't even exist, because he said that it's very brain dead just to play, it's just like you're pulling a trigger and you're shooting at somebody and you don't even really have to have any skill. You're just melting people, especially with the lower shields and everything. And to me, that's rough. And Respawn kind of came back and said, we're going to take the Devo out and it's going to be harder to get. And they responded quickly, but I think we are in good hands, but I really need them to make much, much bigger changes in order for this game to succeed.
I said it last week. You mentioned these changes, and I know that you two are both in favor of the armor going back to being able to pick up white armor and it'd be at 50, to pick up blue armor and it'd be at 75, and if you level it up from there, you level it up from there. I mentioned it last week, and I'm standing by. I think that it shouldn't be that case. I think that it should just level up a lot faster. I think that when you level it up, it already comes with that bar fully healed, instead of you having to heal that bar now. That'd be a big difference.
The other thing too is if they were to come into the energy meta and be like, we need to shake things up, lower the damage, make it to where it didn't shoot in a straight line, especially the Volt, and then they were able to throw back some of the recoil on burst weapons, it would almost feel like the same game to me. The TTK would be slightly smaller, but it would almost feel like the same game if they just lowered the energy weapons and brought back the the recoil, because like Imperial House said, it's brain dead. You're just shooting in a straight line. Because even the Prowler, which is one of the other guns that can really compete with this energy meta, it does feel much, much easier on burst to get knocks than it used to. So I think that's another thing they got to do. You can't just just change the armor, or you can't just change the energy. You got to make it feel like it's a rewarding game when you go in there and drop, because right now it just seems a little too easy when you're using guns that especially burst or energy.
So let's just throw this out there. Regardless of the changes they make to armor and to the Devo and the Havoc, the Volt is going to need to be like
addressed.
Corrected is what I was going to say very soon, because that gun is very, very strong. Like, shooting it reminds me almost of back when we used to play Modern Warfare 2, the original one, and shooting the AK in that game, or the ACR, where there's no recoil and it's freaking laser from across the map.
Yeah, and I think it will be addressed, but I don't think it's going to get addressed this season. I think it's the new gun, I think it's the new toy, and I think they're going to leave it be, just like, as much as I hate to say it, just like, Disruptor rounds in Season 2, they're just going to leave them out there. They're going to say, you know what, this is a test season, and, we're going to see what these new things do to the game, and they're just going to throw it out there, and they're going to let us play with it. And even though Disruptor Round season was awful, it gave us hammer points, which, right now is really, really good. And, I thought that they were a fun part of the game.
I think that it's going to get a nerf on the next patch. I think what the nerf isn't going to be to the damage or the recoil, though. I think it's going to come down to the extended mag and the starting ammo size in it. I think I could see it dropping 3 bullets, and that's actually huge on that gun.
Yeah. So overall, boys, state of the game, what do you think?
State of the game?
Live, dead, what's going on?
Well, it's very, very much live. There's a lot of changes still happening. Community's very lively in it, very outspoken. But they're going to be... We're heading in the right direction. We're sick, but we're getting healthy.
Exactly. And once again, people forget that when we have events come by, a lot of times patch notes come out with these events. We've got 2 events the rest of the season, and then the season will end near Christmas time, or and the split. We still have the split too. So lots of time left for change, and Respawn's heard us. They've responded quickly, so there's a lot of time left for change. But I have to agree with Bryan here. I feel like it's still very much alive. We saw Nick Merckx today with 40,000 viewers, one of my favorite streamers. He's playing Apex, and it was hilarious to watch because he had no idea what he was doing, and he was convinced that... He said Wraith was the worst character in the game, and he was convinced that the Spitfire was the best gun. Either way, no matter what he believes, it's nice to turn on, Twitch and see guys like Nick Merckx playing our game. It's really cool to see 40,000 people watching him. I think the game it floundered a bit at the beginning, and it's still got a long way to go, but I think it's alive.
I think it's alive as well, and I think it's pushing towards a good direction. Just at first, it just felt like we were just hit by a ton of bricks.
Yeah, we were definitely hit with a ton of bricks there. Well, let's move on to the next segment. Let's get over to our stock option. We'll hit you with a quick ad, and then on the other side, you will start by hearing Bryan talk shit.
Listen, I did bad this week. My stock's down. Y'all better buy it while it's low, because it's going to soar high.
All right.
Listen, dude.
Do we always have to enter this segment with you talking shit? Like,
Yeah,
can we just enter this segment naturally one time? Would that be okay with you?
I don't think we can. I think he has to talk shit
Oh
into the
my
segment.
God. All right. Well, let's start the stock option portion of the show. We've got a lot of bets coming our way. Last week, like we said, only one person made one bet happen. I got 45 kills. That was it. Every other bet failed. I didn't hit the 2,400. I didn't hit the 1,000 average.
He stole 45 of my kills.
Bryan was triple red. Kyle was triple red. Bryan hit Kyle with the triple O, lost all those bets, which is why he's 1-5. Let's get into it. Let's get into. Where's super producer Troy? What is he doing?
Oh, we got to go find him.
Super producer Troy, definitely doing what I thought he would be doing. Okay, so here we go. Let's set the line. Who do you want to go first?
Well, let's go ahead and we can start with me this time. Because we can just put mine at like.
Let's save the worst for first. Let's go. Okay, so hand it over to Kyle.
Here we go.
There's super producer.
There's super producer Troy.
Bathroom.
He just produced something in that bathroom.
Yes, he did. All right, so Kyle, Bryan's last week lines: max of 2050, average of 850. 45 kills. All of those seemed a little high. I might keep the kills. Kills might stay, but the other two were much too high for Bryan.
If you put kills on there at 45 this week, and I play more than once this week, I'm blowing past that.
All right, I'm dropping it. Him saying that makes me want to drop it.
Dude, one night I'll hit 40, not 40 yet. One night I'll hit probably like 30 kills. I already did that last night? I hit about 30 kills last night.
Okay, listen.
Let me and Kyle discuss it.
We'll
You
talk
go over
about
there.
it. Yeah,
You
go sit over there for a second.
Go over there. Okay. Okay, here we go.
80.
Shut up with your
Trash.
80.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on. Let you're messing with me and Kyle right now.
Yeah, you're messing my chi up.
Get out of here. Okay, so we've got Bryan's max. Bryan didn't hit the 2050. We got to set this line. I think we got to go much, much lower. And I would say 1,600.
16?
1,600.
I don't even think he's going to make that.
You don't think he's going to make that?
I think he's going to get 14.
14.
14. I think he's not going to get 14.
Super producer Troy?
Super Destroy? Oh, he said 12.
I said 1,200. Okay, so
Disrespectful.
all right. Well, let's hit him with the 1,300.
You want him with the 13? Okay,
Oh.
1,300.
1,350.
1350 for the max? Okay, 1350.
1,350 for the max for Bryan. I'm betting the.
I
I
might bet
am
the under.
hammering the under so fast, Bryan. I want you to understand. I'm hammering that
So
under.
can I pencil you in for that?
Yeah,
Can I pencil you in for that
pencil
under?
me in. Pencil me
Pencil
in.
you in for the under on the.
Hurry up. Write the U.
You're a bitch.
Write the U. Hurry up. How long does it take you to write a U, Bryan? There you go. Okay.
Dude, you
got it.
went to school with me for how many years? You know how slow I write.
It is true. All right, let's go back to the average on Bryan here. We've got 850. Obviously, all of our averages are going to drop.
Listen, dude.
They're going to drop.
My average, and I think I had the highest producing damage last night, was around 480. So I think that we are in a lower realm.
Now, what I will say about Bryan's average was it was much. He had a lot more average damage than we did.
Yes.
450.
Okay, he was around 450. So let's set that. We want to see him get better. Let's set it at 500.
500?
Let's try and set it at 500. If he can set up 500, then he should be all right.
500 average sounds good to me.
That's actually about my career average.
And then kills. Bryan's correct on the kills because if I was able to hit it in one session, if we have like 2 or 3 sessions, we're definitely going to hit that. I think we should put it up at around probably like 60.
Listen, if we play more than 3 times a week, we're going to slaughter anything we put up there. You need to put it high, so we have to strive and be on our game for every game.
All right, let's go 65 then.
65?
We'll do 65.
All right, 65. So you've got the under for max.
I've got the under for max. I'm going to take the under for 500, and then I'm going to take the under for kills.
Oh, he hit him with the triple U.
I hit you with the triple U.
Okay, I'm going to give you... Actually, I'm going to hit you with the above on the average. I think you're going to get below on the max, though. I'm sorry, brother. And I think you're going to get below on the kills.
Super producer Troy?
Triple U.
Triple U.
Triple U.
Triple U. All right, who's next? Kyle?
All right, I guess I'll
hand
go
it
next.
hand it off to Bryan. All right, Kyle. Now listen, Kyle, he was kind of, I would say, Bryan, he was in the middle of both of us. He was, sometimes he would have himself a good damage game, but not a lot of kills. Sometimes he'd have some kills, but not a whole lot of damage. So
Teammate.
he's a terrible teammate, honestly. It just kind of goes into all of that. He's really, I don't even want to get into it. So let's think here. Kyle's max was 2,300. He was well below that. So
Kyle's max was not.
I think what was it? 1,400.
14.
Okay,
1448.
So let's go 1,500. Make it easy.
1550.
1,550. Okay, we can do 1,550. All right. So the average for Kyle, his damage tends to be a tad low.
I want you to know that I'm going to hit that 1550 tonight in spite of you.
Okay, I want to lower it now. You want to go back to 1,500?
I'm thinking 1450.
Okay, let's go 1450.
Okay, we're going 1450.
Fuck you.
See you, bad teammate.
Terrible teammate. Terrible teammate.
1450?
Which is why he'll never hit the max. All right, average. So Kyle's average, what was it?
480. He was
480?
480, just a little bit above me.
So let's go 520.
520.
That's a little high, actually.
See, we're doing average. So we're rounding to the nearest. So for 480, his actual average, we would have rounded it to 500.
All right. Well,
so I'm saying he's going to be like, I think he'll actually be a little lower on average this week.
yeah, let's go 500 then.
I'm thinking 500.
Okay.
500. And that gives us a little ballpark to work with.
And then kills, we had Bryan at 65. Let's hit Kyle with 70.
I strongly disagree with that, dude.
You want to go higher than 70?
He hit, like 36 kills in one night? Dude, we play 3 times, and he's at almost 108 kills?
If you show up, then maybe.
Listen.
My bets for Kyle are going on you showing up, which you don't do.
Dude, all I've said all week was, let me know when you're on.
Okay,
on.
Okay, let's. You want to babysit Bryan this week? You want to babysit him?
Listen. I only play when the boys are on.
Okay, I'll go put your milk in the fridge. I'll have it ready for you.
Fucking bitch.
You need your formula. I'll get that for you too. Don't worry about it.
Make it chocolate, damn it.
Okay, I will.
You fucked up last time. I like it at a cool 72 degrees, okay?
That makes sense.
Not cold, cool.
That makes a lot of sense. At least you're a better
Slightly
teammate
chill.
than Kyle. That's all that matters.
Yeah, thank you. If you dip your elbow in, it shouldn't burn.
Listen, fuck you.
I'm just going to grab every mic and just say, fuck you into it.
On a real note, Kyle needs to be way higher on kills. I think you guys way underplayed what I got.
Okay, let's just do 80.
Higher. I think he's 80. I'm fine with.
Let's just do 80.
We'll do 80. I think he's still. I'll do it in my bet for him. But
yeah, okay. So there's all 3. You want to start off with yours?
Yeah. So I will say the max for Kyle. He's at. We have him written down at what 1450.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hits that.
So you taking over?
I'll take the over on that. Kyle can hit 1450. The average, I'm taking the under on the average. 500 average, I'm taking the under. And then kills, I'm taking the over.
Okay.
Over on the kills all day.
All right, so I'm actually going to hit the over on Kyle's max. I'm going to go under on average, and then I'm also going to go under on kills.
Yep.
I don't think Kyle doesn't have the ability to do it. I just feel like the line is a little too high still this early on. So so over, under, over. I mean, over, under.
All right, so we're on to Wyatt.
Yeah, we're on to Wyatt.
Well, hold on. Ask Super Producer Troy.
Super Producer Troy. What do you think for the over and unders for me?
So the kills is total kills for the week?
Yes.
Well, I think that's really dependent on what temperature Bryan's formula is. In terms of and that's average damage.
Yes,
that's
average damage.
That is very conservative in my opinion.
500. I averaged 480 last night.
It was disappointing. I expect better from you. I expect better. I expect I understand that that's kind of where you guys were sitting last time, but I don't think that is indicative of the way that you truly play.
They both betted me lower.
I saw that.
The average.
Being the super producer, I was able to put together that the down arrows did indicate. Okay.
That's why we have super producers.
Okay. In terms of the maximum damage, I want to know how you feel about that before I say anything about
it. Last night the highest I got was 1447, like I said. So, and our ones last week, I had like 2,300 that I was supposed to hit, and it wasn't even remotely close to that. I think it's just because you get shredded so fast in this new season.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's about spot on. I think it's a good coin toss in the middle there, and they both bet you over, probably out of pity. So I'm going to go ahead and concur with that, and I'll put my up arrow next to that one. In terms of kills, like I said, there's a lot of variables that have to do with Bryan, and in terms of the average, I'd bet over on that because I really don't think that you guys basing it off that last session is representative of where you're at. So I would say for kills, I'm just not going to play. And for max, I'll bet over. And for average, I'll also bet over. So I'm 2 over. And if I had to pick on kills, I would say under.
2 overs and an under. All right. At least I didn't get the triple U. All right. That's all I'm saying.
So back to Wyatt's bets. Let's see. What do we have Wyatt's max at this week?
So I was 70 damage away from 2,400.
You were 70 damage away from 2,400 earlier this week. That was not with us, though. So you got close. You got close, but it wasn't with us this week. So the potential's there. That being said, our damage when playing with each other is a lot less because there's a lot less damage to go around.
Yes.
We're actually all doing damage to them instead of having two teammates with their thumbs up their asses.
Very true.
Can I say that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Super producer Troy.
So that being said, I think I'm gonna drop B down to. Dude, last night did you even hit over 1,000 last night with all of us?
No, he hit 16.
Oh, you hit 16 one game.
Let's play
I'm thinking of 1650. Nah, 17. I give him 17.
I give him 17.
17. I'm comfortable.
1700
max. And I don't think he's gonna hit it
I think he's gonna hit it.
because that's a max with us. It's not a max by himself.
That's true. Kills. I think we should shoot for like 90.
Oh no, I think he gets higher than that.
You think he's 100? 110.
I'd like him at 105.
105?
I like him at 105.
Okay.
And I actually think he can hit it too. Is the thing. Like
105 this week. Okay, 105.
Dude, we play 3 times. He hit 45. Right? We play 3 times this week, and he's sitting at what is that? Almost 120, 125.
Okay,
He's sitting at 125 if we play 3 times. At that range last night when we played like shit.
All right, this week will definitely be the telltale where the Vegas should be on Wyatt Babb.
This is going to be big. What did we say for his average? Did we say that? I think we skipped it.
Yeah, last week.
It
was 1,000.
He had 1,000 average last week. That did not come close.
Not even remotely close.
Not even close. I think your average was actually lower than ours, wasn't it?
I think your average was like 300.
Yeah, you were really streaky. Like when you hit, you were freaking popping off. But when you were bad, it was bad.
Most of my kills would come from beginning of the match where you guys would go down and I just have like a little bit of damage left on the last 3 dudes and then I just pop them real quick. That's normally what would happen at the end.
Yeah, and because of that, your damage wasn't as high, but your kills were a lot higher. But normally we would say that's luck. But he's done this since he started playing this game.
Wyatt's got. Listen, I'm not going to say it's luck. Wyatt's got the clutch factor.
That's what I'm saying.
That's one thing.
That's what I'm saying. Normally we would say luck, but it's Wyatt, and he's done this since we started playing. So
yeah, he's got the
he'll clutch
factor.
out. So damage, I'm actually going to give him like a 400. I'm thinking 400 average damage. It's less than us. We tend to do more damage, but he tends to get more kills. No, he has high.
What was that, Super Producer Troy?
I say that's total BS is what I say.
How is that?
Listen, I watched you guys play together, and I think that in the current meta, that Wyatt is getting both kills and damage that will supersede both of you, because you're not seeing as much of like, really laying into somebody and they still get away. It's like if you get the kill, you get the damage a lot more often, I think, in the current meta. And I watched Wyatt take care of a full team last night in just brilliant style. I mean, it was truly stunning. It floored me. And I think that you guys are underestimating what moving more towards a Call of Duty TTK will do in evening out the disparity between kills and damage.
You may not be wrong, but after the stats of last night, I'm just following the stats. The stats proved that though Wyatt has really good games where he pops off for like 2k damage, he has games where he pops out for 300 damage and gets 7 kills.
Or 0 damage.
So, I mean,
you always got to factor in those games where you drop and you just get killed off the rip.
Yeah, he just gets clapped. So
I had 5 of those.
He had 5 of those.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
Brian,
I was just saying a number. I didn't
Brian had 12 where he got clapped.
Listen, people, I had 12 where I just got absolutely wrecked like that, and my average was still higher than Wyatt's. Just saying.
All right, so what are we going to put his average damage at?
I got 400. I think 400 is fine with him.
Let's do, 400.
I think 400 is fine for him. All right, so bet time. Kyle, on Wyatt, what do you have?
So I'm going to take the over for kills.
You're taking the over for kills.
I'm going to take the over for the max. And
Okay.
I am going to take the over for the average.
Triple over.
I hit Wyatt Babb with the triple O because I think
did
we're
that.
talking so much shit that's going to light a fire under him, and he's going to do some shit.
I bet triple O on someone last week, and it didn't pan out. You want to talk to him about that? Or?
Well, listen, I don't want to talk to him about that because, you guys put
it was
your
you
faith
sucking.
in your You put your faith in your boy, and you know what? He came up a little short, but this week's going to be different.
You know what, Brian? It's really hard for me to watch you point the finger, because how are you supposed to get into a rhythm, okay, when a third of your team is just MIA? All right, how are you supposed to hit your stride?
It's not my fault. Kyle's a bad teammate, and halfway across the
wow,
map.
I have a four propeller plane, and 3 of them are working really well. I just don't understand why I'm flying in circles. It's like, Brian, you have to understand, okay? You have to understand that Wyatt is a creature that needs to be stroked gently for a long time in order to bloom.
You sound very experienced with that.
In order to bloom into what he could.
Well, we learned something new here tonight, you guys.
Well, thank you, super producer Troy. I'm so glad we learned that here.
Well, going back, let's see. I haven't even made my bets yet.
Yes. Brian.
Let's see. For the max at, 17?
Yes.
I have him under.
You're going to put him under.
Under. When he's playing with the 3 of us, I have him under.
Okay.
For the average at 400, I'll give him an over on that.
Okay.
And kills, I am smashing that over like no other.
Okay. Eventually, we should add a thing where you can, super smash a bet. And
double down?
And, double down on it?
Double down on it.
Dude, that would be
that'd be
wild.
tight.
If you get double down on a bet.
You get to double down on one bet per
you
week.
Get double one bet per week.
Well, eventually we'll introduce a unit system where obviously it's going to be fake units, but eventually we'll do that to where each week, because right now losing bets does nothing for you other than just make you look like an idiot, like Brian. But
hey, you're sitting at 500.
When we're putting units on it, because say you really believe in something, say you really believe that I'm going to hit the triple O, then, and I would totally buy into that, you could actually put more units on it than another bet. If you were going to bet the over on Brian getting kills when you know he won't, then you could just put 1 unit, but if you have a feeling, you could just tap it, Or you could do if it's the damage you feel for someone is so low and you don't know why, then you can just hammer that with units. But we'll have to introduce that later. That'll come once we start getting more comfortable. We've been talking about introducing more bets too. That would be really fun. So we still got a long way to go with this segment, but it's really fun.
Real fast, we got to get to Troy's bets on you.
Oh yeah, super producer, get in here.
Well, I really appreciate that I'm being involved in this, and that I'm not just behind the scenes making the magic happen. But before I get into
hasn't touched the button yet.
Man, and once again, that just goes to show how well I delegate, and my oversight is really supreme. It's supreme enough that everything just begins and ends perfectly. So, for those at home that aren't quite as familiar with the betting scene, maybe thicker individuals who are used to being called an absolute unit and don't know what a unit means in this context. Wyatt, can you explain what that means?
Oh yeah, so if we were to bet units per se, it would basically mean 1 unit is 1% of your bankroll, meaning however much money you put towards your gambling addiction. So if you had $100, 1 unit would be $1. So that's what you would bet. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Okay. So 105 on kills. That feels pretty steep to me. Once again, Brian, once again, it comes down to, it's not just about Wyatt, okay? It's about the team dynamic, okay? And what I'm
Kyle's
really,
a terrible
what
teammate.
what I'm betting on, God forbid, we have one teammate that's disappeared, and we have one teammate that's absolutely gutter trash. So when I'm betting on total kills, I'm
not drinking out of a fucking sippy cup.
Yeah, we have lots of, clearly, just splendid group cohesion is going on. I love the camaraderie. So when I'm betting on kills, I'm not betting on the individual as much as I'm betting on the team. And right now, your team dynamics are slightly lacking. So I'm going to go ahead and bet under on the kills. In terms of the max for 1,700, I think that's easily doable for Wyatt. So I'll go ahead and bet over on that. And for the average, what an egregious underrepresentation. You have no faith in your teammate to put him at 400, and I'm disgusted, quite frankly. No, if I would put all of my units on that being an over. So that's where I sit.
All right. So, stock option, week 2 in the books. Right now, the records are sitting at me with 3 and 3. Kyle 4-2, and Bryan is sitting at 7-5. Oh wait, no, that's a 1-5. So that's what our records are for right now. That should just about wrap up the show, boys. I think we've touched on everything, right?
Yeah, just check out our Twitter and.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and check out our Twitter at Grab My Banner Pod. We're over there. We've got little clips coming up each episode with in the background we have some gameplay and stuff like that. So go ahead and follow that. Check us out on our blog too. That'll be in the description of our Twitter, so you can check out like little blogs that we write here and there. Every once in a while we'll just pop something up. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's serious. You never know. And then that's just about it, boys.
Yeah, sounds about good.
Yeah, I just want to say I'll see you next week, and fuck you both.
Yeah, and I just want to throw out
great teammate.
Yeah, right.
That's a great teammate move.
Great fucking teammate.
Awesome. Glad he's on our team, Bryan.
Right. Can we throw out a special thank you to super producer Troy coming in to visit for us?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was impressive to watch him do all of his work laying, completely, like he was going to sleep.
Seriously, dude, I thought he took a nap, and really he was just meditating on what we were saying and learning the stats, apparently.
The word you were looking for was horizontal, and if you had read the notes that I had made for you, you would have known that. I'll be back here pushing buttons as always and making sure everything runs smoothly. If you want any merch with any part of my body on it, just make sure to add us on our Twitter, and I'll make sure to produce that as I produce this podcast.
Incredible stuff. He really is the best. He did it laying down. Imagine what he could do if he sat.
Dude, imagine what would happen if he touched a button.
Yeah, like if...
Oh, my God.
The amount...
What would I do if you paid me more?
Okay, well, let's wrap this up.
We don't talk about payment here.
Let's hurry up and end this. All right, guys, we'll catch you guys next week on the Grab My Banner Pod. See ya later.